Alrighty, so this is my Flask app that I created. Um, Welcome to my weather prediction app. So there's some problems with it, but I'm just kind of out of time at the moment. But I'm pretty proud of what I've gotten so far. So we can go plot target data from a location. So we can grab Albury and we can give it these different columns here, and it will plot each of these columns and what their value was each day, or with respect to their row IDs, because I went ahead and I just made the assumption that the row IDs were different days, and so you submit that. So you can kind of see, and this is kind of proof of that, because I assume these are like seasonal changes, right? So just we're down in the winter months here, back into the summer, you know. It kind of seems to follow a nice wave pattern. So that's how I assume that the row IDs are in fact days, or at least um, maybe they could even be weeks, right? So like row ID, or yeah, row ID one is this is the data for Albury of that week, maybe. I'm not sure. The data set's not very clear on that. Um, but yeah, so we can just go ahead and back out and go plot, so we can enter multiple different locations in one column. And if we submit that, we can see the average max temperature of each of these different sites. So Kobar has the highest, and then Albury, and then Bendigo. So that could be useful if you wanted it with that. I've been running into an error though when you go to predict. If from backing out, it can be this predict rain feature doesn't work anymore, but it does work if we close out. So if we go ahead and rerun our program here, it'll load all up and predict rain tomorrow. So we can either train a new model or load an existing model. Training a model can take a lot of time, especially with the route that I took. Since we're going over the data set multiple times, I have uh, things in place to make sure that the model isn't overfitting to the data. Um, but yeah, so just try to make a very accurate model um, that's not too curated to that data set there. So if we hit train model, it'll begin the training. We can see the training happening in our terminal down here. And for the user, they would just see training in progress and then a GIF of skips from regular show doing a workout. Um, so this could take a minute. My guess is 3 to 5 minutes. So while this is running, you can kind of go over like different concepts here. So things like we're doing some asynchronous programming here with um, right now. So I want to make sure that this screen is playing while while the AI is training. And so I have this define train model function that will grab my machine object, which is the global variable set up here, which is my machine learning manager, which is this class here. And it will go ahead and begin the training process on that machine learning model. And then while it's doing that, so when you clicked train model, or when I clicked train model, it went ahead and ran this function here. So training is complete is false. Thread, so we set up a thread for training the model, and then we start the thread, and then we redirect to the training in process URL. And then we render training in progress h.html, which is this guy here, and is saved up here. It's just a quick look of it. And then this guy here is running, is grabbing a JSON to check if it's complete or not. And then once it's completed, it checks every, that shouldn't say 2 seconds. It checks every 9 seconds. Um, but yeah, once it's completed, then it will put us into this screen here. So I went ahead and I added every single row or every single column. They're not required though. None of the rows are required because each of these columns also has vacant rows, except for like row ID, but I would assume that whoever wanted to use this might not have row ID, or maybe even they're like, oh, these were data, this is data that was collected in Orem and not anywhere in Australia, and so I'm not going to put that in there, and then hopefully it would still generate good results. But so this is just last used saved info. So things like, so that is actually, I believe that is, yeah, row 7. This row right here, just excluding the rain tomorrow column, since that's what we're trying to predict. So since this says rain tomorrow, let's see, since row 7 says that it is going to rain tomorrow, then we would expect the machine learning to predict that it's going to rain tomorrow. So if we click that, so, yeah, see, so we get a nice GIF of Muscle Man and High Five Ghost, also from Regular Show, dancing in the rain, and another reference to Regular Show up here. So just, it's gonna rain tomorrow. A nice thing I could add here is something like there's this percentage chance. I think, yeah, so yeah, we got that prediction here. So it says that there's a 68% chance of rain. Other models I've trained in the past have gotten 83%. Some of them even dipped below the 50% and would show the sunny today or sunny tomorrow. But yeah, so since each of these, if we went ahead and we just set all these to null, I would expect that the machine learning would predict no rain because it doesn't typically rain in Australia. There's a lot of desert there, and if you look at these columns, there's just a lot of zeros here, not a whole lot of ones. So if we submit that, boom, no rain tomorrow. But it would go through and do the prediction because this says that there's a 0% chance of rain, and that might just be because there's no data. But kind of going through and inputting all those rows can be very tedious. So that is the main part of the app. But yeah, thanks for watching. Oh, and also I can, hopefully loading the model should work here, and then yeah, we can plug in all this data right back into the model to predict. And it should give us the same result since we're just loading the old model that we trained just barely. So, but we don't seem to have any errors in my terminal yet, so that's good. I am not the biggest fan of front-end development, to be honest. So, okay, sweet. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Went ahead and said 85%. So that seems odd. Maybe it's not saving exactly into this my model.keras file, but yeah, it all seems to work pretty well. So